If I'd told you even 10 years ago that children with psychological disorders, depression, bipolar or even autism, would be set upon a path of changing their gender as the solution, you'd have thought I'd lost the plot. Welcome to 2022, where we have indeed lost the plot. But the tide may be turning. Health bosses have told frontline staff not to publicise the work of the transgender rights charity Mermaids in information material for patients, following a series of controversies involving the group. Black Country NHS Integrated Care Board has written to all of its primary care staff, urging them on safeguarding grounds not to signpost to this charity at this time and remove references to them in any support materials they may have. The leadership of Mermaids, a charity set up to support families of trans children, youngsters who believe they're in the wrong body or who have been convinced that they are, well, they've been invited to parties at number 10 Downing Street, and they've even given evidence to MPs. Writing in today's Telegraph, Nikki DaCosta, former Director of Legislative Affairs at Downing Street, points out that Mermaids has been lauded by celebrities like Emma Watson and has received national lottery funding and major corporate sponsorship. All have given their stamp of approval, she writes, helping take Mermaids from a charity receiving about £100,000 in 2017 to almost £2 million last year. Now, the issue is not the rights of trans people or empathy, understanding, support and recognition, which are of huge importance. The issue is something called gender ideology, which questions altogether the idea that there are two biological sexes. Now, gender ideology is a difficult idea to sell, given that it's not true. Biological sex is a matter of scientific fact, and even the most cursory glance at a biology textbook will tell you just that. Don't take my word for it. Here are the words of one of the world's leading fertility experts, Professor Robert Winston, speaking on the BBC's Question Time programme.
I will say this categorically, that you cannot change your sex. Your sex actually is there in every single cell in the body. You have a chromosomal sex, you have genetic sex, you have hormonal sex, you have all sorts of different kinds of psychological, brain sex, they're all different. Well, unfortunately, you can't say this publicly. This is one of the big problems. Even saying this on this programme undoubtedly will result in my getting a huge amount of hate mail. It always does.
So there you go, you cannot change sex. But why let the facts get in the way of what has become a terrifying religion, the Church of Woke? Mermaids has found itself in hot water for allegedly sending children and young people medieval-style chest-flattening devices. That's right, chest-flattening devices that stop their breasts growing. And they've been encouraging them to take chemical medications called puberty blockers, literally designed to stop puberty in its tracks. Last month, the Telegraph reported that Mermaids' online help centre had inaccurately told children as young as 13 that puberty-blocking medication was safe and, wait for it, totally reversible. The NHS and other leading medical bodies across the world challenge this. The US Food and Drug Administration recently slapped a warning on puberty blockers, noting a risk of serious side effects, including brain swelling and vision loss. Using chemicals to stop the body developing into its adult state. What could possibly go wrong? Well, what could go wrong is a potential generation of detransitioners. What are they? People who, whilst a child or teenager, changed their bodies irreversibly, only to regret their decision, and who now seek to go back to the gender into which they were born. Except that now they have a legacy of mental damage, and their bodies often left unrecognisable, unable to have a normal sex life, and thanks to the butchering of the surgeon's knife, often unable to start a family. This is progress, is it? But it gets worse. It's been revealed that Jacob Breslow, one of Mermaids' former trustees, was chucked off the board for his previous sympathetic comments about, wait for it, paedophiles, who woke nutters like this man often refer to as minor attracted children. Breslow spoke at an event held by an organisation that provides professional services to help paedophiles live in truth and dignity. I know where I'd like them to live, and that's in jail. But that's the extreme end of woke ideology, folks, on the side of paedophiles, minor attracted adults. Welcome to hell. For the corporations, the politicians and the media outfits who blindly accepted trans ideology, particularly in relation to its impact on children and young people, there will be a day of reckoning. And just watch as companies and celebrities rapidly disassociate themselves from the likes of Mermaids as the truth about what's happened comes to light. There are myriad reports of gender non-conforming kids who very often simply turn out to be gay, being set on the path of transition, when all they actually were is same-sex attracted. Which is why, in relation to trans ideology, many gay people feel they're being erased in the same way that women do. Don't forget, lesbians are now being told by these extremists that if they're not attracted to a trans woman, that's a biological male calling himself female, then they're a bigot. Take that dick, sister, or you're not an ally. The government and the authorities must now urgently act to protect kids and young people from the church of woke. It's time to transition away from this dangerous madness.